Well, hi, all my LGBT friends and others. Um, I have been sick for a week with a cold and chest cold, so it's this time of year I get either allergies or bronchitis, sinusitis, or something. But anyway, I would like very much if you could keep my brother John in prayer. He had a massive heart attack a week ago, but he's on the mend, and thank God the surgeon who worked on his blood clot a year ago was the same guy who worked on his heart. And I think it goes to the same agency or something, but when the hospital calls out, and it was luckily the same doctor, and so he knew, my brother's situation, and so they had to put 2 stents in him. And so if you would keep him in prayer and lift him up, that would be just great. Thank you for that. And anyway, I wanted to share with you, I got a really nice letter I wrote to Dr. Blair at the ecinc.org website, where I get a lot of encouragement and fulfillment from letters and comments and things like that from his website. And some of the things that he said was that he said that he was glad that I found his website and that I found it helpful and encouraging and comforting. And he was glad that I was able to also, of course, be able to integrate my same-sex orientation with the Christian faith and walk. And it was good, he said, for me to note the countercultural comments of Jesus regarding eunuchs, and in ancient Israel, damaged or dysfunctional genitalia was taken to be a barrier to the worship of Yahweh. And the story of the Ethiopian eunuch certainly dispelled the old notion and signaled the need to rethink some of the traditional religious assumptions. And so he's written about same-sex behavior and some of the things, that he's written about in the ancient world. But he doesn't think that biblical reference to eunuchs refer to what we know today as the persons of same-sex orientation as such. Okay, it's the closest thing that we have, but they didn't even have the term homosexual until the 20th century. And they didn't have the same concepts that we have today back then, because it was a different type of it was more of a shame and honor culture back then. And so he talks to that. And then he also mentions Sarah Rudin in her rebuttal to those anti-gay preachers who say that Paul would have known of and opposed same-sex marriages of his day. Her conclusions have been carried even in Christianity today. It speaks to the issue. So it was something that I was able to take a look at and to read and on his website. So I encourage you to read his website and look at some of those writings, for yourself, and delve into his. He had been in existence since 1975. Is when he put this website together. Anyway, so I just wanted to share that, with you, and just more of as an encouragement. And I also wanted to talk today just a little bit on the sex topic, and I would encourage especially my Catholic friends, again, to get out of the Catholic Church and get out of some of these churches that are just not teaching the proper biblical translation. And that if you're a serious biblical student, if you really want to be serious about what God has to say to you, I would get into the ancient writings and like get a good Greek Septuagint that has the English and the Greek. Get a good Strong's Concordance. You can get one right on your iPhone, your iPad, your laptop, whatever, and then you can just plug in verses and see exactly what God said. For example, when in the 10th commandment, it doesn't say you should not lust after a woman, okay? It says you should not covet your neighbor's wife, okay? And a lot of Bibles today have theology in them. They're being twisted, especially by the Catholic Church. The Pope himself has put down Jesus so many times, it just makes me furious. Well, I don't even want to go into that. My blood pressure will go sky high. Anyway, so if you just remember that the commandments to love God with all your heart and soul and might, and to love your neighbor as yourself, everything else will fall into place, okay? So when it comes to the sex topic issue, it doesn't mean that you cannot have sex before marriage, that you can't watch porno, you can't watch look at another woman, as long as it's not your neighbor's wife, as long as she's not married, and so, it's just like the Sadducees and the Pharisees trying to put too many rules on the Christians when Jesus was here in the 4th century. He said to them, knock it off, basically. If I want to heal somebody on the Sabbath, I'm going to heal somebody on the Sabbath. If you walk too many steps, it was considered work, that you were working. And, you can't put people in a bubble or in a box, because life isn't meant to be lived that way. When it comes to sex, that's the closest thing that we have to understanding our love to the Almighty, okay? That total high that you get, that euphoria, when you are engaged with somebody else in that sexual embrace, that's the closest you're going to get to understanding what it is to being with God. And that's why He gave it to us, so we would understand that love. And yet His love is even more infinite and even more profound and more encompassing than we could ever truly imagine until the day that we are with Him and back with Him. And so, we are all sexual human beings. And so for every church, like the Pope, even the Muslims, the other religions teaching about you shouldn't lust after a woman, Why are they teaching that? Because it's not right. Okay? It isn't. And I know that I've mentioned this many times, go see my friend Tony on God Rules. He breaks it down for you verse by verse on what does the Lord say and where does He say it. That's why I encourage you to get the old King James 1611 or a good Thompson's Bible, the Concordance Bible. Read the ancient Greek Septuagint, and there goes my phone. Anyways, sorry about that. Hopefully it'll good. It's blocked. I love that blocked bit. I just love that. So feature on my phone, I can just block people that are trying to sell me stuff. Anyway, so if you get yourself a good Bible, the Strong's Concordance is the best, because then you can just look at it word for word and see what those words actually meant in the Greek, in the Hebrew, and the Aramaic, and so forth. So that would be good, for you to do for yourselves. And I know I'm going to get probably some flack on this, but please note, if you are not a decent human being and don't have language that is helpful or at least clean in your speaking, you will be blocked from my channel. And so I've had to do that just to one or two people who are just not very bright. And so I've had to do that. And so I forewarn you, that if you think you're going to be leaving some kind of comment for the world to see, I will not have it on my channel. So anyway, I know that a lot of young people are being, that the Lord is reaching out to you. And especially in this day and age, it's so hard to know, where do I go? What church do I go to? What Bible do I read? And then you have your friends telling you, oh, well, here, take this Bible. And you don't even know that it has theology already written into it. So that, instead of letting the Holy Spirit lead you, and when you accept Jesus Christ into your heart, then he sends to you the Comforter, the Holy Spirit. So after you're baptized, you have to let the Holy Spirit lead you in your reading when you're praying, and he will reveal to you things. It's a miracle how it works, but it does work. So that's what I wanted to share with you guys today. I've been dealing with my brother and his girlfriend, and it's tough for new Christians. I mean, there's like I said, 137 different denominations. Which church do you go? I would just suggest don't go, for a while. Just allow yourself to read the Bible, work with Holy Spirit. God knows your heart. He knows what you need, and he will lead you to the right individuals and the right people to study with, or not, but just trust in him. And he will meet you right where you are at, and help guide you through whatever you want to discuss with him or talk to him about. He will meet you right there. And also remember too, wherever there's two or more gathered, there he is also in the midst. And so if you have somebody that you absolutely trust, who knows their stuff, who's been, maybe somebody who's been doing it for many, many years, somebody that you can, But if you're on this channel, if you've come to this channel and you're listening to me right now, it's because the Lord has led you here. There's no other reason for you to be on this channel, okay? Because you're seeking out the Lord. You're seeking out different things. You want to, unless you're a troll. I mean, So, but if you're here seriously and you want to find out about the LGBTQ and how it relates to Christianity and what I'm saying about it and how it's worked in my life, then you're at the right channel. I just kind of tell you daily, whatever's going on in my life, whatever I'm doing, what I'm reading, perhaps that may be helpful. It was helpful for me. Maybe it'll be helpful for you to understand why I think it is that God, the Holy Spirit, and Jesus all love and accept us the way that we are, is because He does. Okay, and that no matter what the churches tell you, they're wrong. And a lot of churches are coming around. A lot of ministers are coming around, and I've talked to a few, and want to continue to do that, as I've said before. And as soon as I'm feeling better and able to, I'll be able to do some more things. But life happens, and so I'm just kind of taking it a day at a time. And again, if you could, keep my brother